devices and toasters going wob, wob, wob.
I like the wubs.
You like the wobs?
I like the wubs.
The Vault Wardens are a lesser-known Loyalist chapter. They are non-codex compliant, located and operating solely below the galactic plane within a star cluster known as the Vaults. The Vault Wardens are believed to have been created sometime during the late 37th to early 38th millennium, placing them within the 23rd founding, which points to them possibly being a part of the Sentinel founding. This has been confirmed recently due to the timescale between their first known appearance and arriving within the Vault star cluster. The chapter records keepers have kept meticulous details of their past and confirm their date of creation. The exact progenitor of the chapter's gene seed, however, remains unknown, but it is believed they are one of the few remaining chapters created from chimeric seed stock. The exact combination or changes made to create the chapter's gene seed is unknown, classified at the highest level of the Mechanicum and High Lords of Terror. The chapter, however, has shown no signs of any form of degradation, mutation, or corruption, and continues to follow their orders to the fullest potential, defending and upholding Imperial decree within the star cluster. Although the chapter is considered to be a lesser-known chapter, there is one element that stands out. One element that has prompted a number of investigations by both the Mechanicum and the Inquisition. This is not due to their unusual gene seed or lack of information, however. It is, in fact, their fascination and use of a particular weapon. Much like the salamanders with flamer and melter weapons, or the Imperial fists with their skill in the use of bolt weapons, the Vault Wardens are known to make extensive use of autocannons.
So that was Mrs. Apothecary reading a little bit of headcanon for the chapter that this absolutely bizarre model comes from. And overall, we have a good friend and channel supporter, Nate, to thank for this diabolical bits bash. There was a 3-hour conversation very much based around the whole idea of each chapter seems to have its own little flavour. Obviously, as mentioned in the lore, being like salamanders have flamers, or people think space wolves, they think they go to the wolf claws. So we then started working on this idea of, well, what about if a chapter had an affinity for autocannons?
Just because you like the wubs.
Because I like the wubs. And I have credited where that saying comes from now. People have been asking me for ages, and it was from the Soviet Womble video. I like the wubs. It just made me chuckle, and it's been stuck in my head ever since. So this Bits Bash was predominantly built from Tolgarodon, and then just adding like a series of spare bits that I had lying around. Like the autocannon itself comes from an Imperial Knight. The sword, I think, comes from the Gravis Captain. And then
everything's Gravis.
Everything's Gravis. I'm not fat, I'm Gravis. I then had found a bunch of keys, and I thought, oh, well, they got the name Vault Wardens, so give them a bunch of keys and some weird runes from the Fire Slayers box set. I'm just literally just going with complete and utter rule of cool.
You have just played, basically. You've had fun.
Yeah.
You've
I've
had fun and played.
Just played around,
That's it.
and I mean that's the big point of bits bashing, isn't it? It's playing around with the parts you've got and just having a laugh with it,
using your imagination and seeing what you can make.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
you have done that.
It's so ridiculous. The model looks. I keep looking at it and thinking, yeah, this is so ridiculous. But yeah, so the bits bash didn't actually take long, to be honest. It was I think an afternoon's worth of work. I think the bit that took the most was waiting for the green stuff to cure. And then it was on to the painting side of things. And I mean, after the interview I did over on Storyfire with Emma from Dice and Demons, it was like, I haven't done anything really colourful in a while, so that could be a bit of fun. But I wanted to do like a Sotek green, because I've never painted anything in Sotek green before, and I've always liked the colour. So Mrs. Apothecary came up with the idea of mixing some contrasts. So we ended up using one...
Frost Heart mixed with...
I can't remember off the top of it. I know it was like a 2-to-1 mix. Oh, Aethermatic Blue. Is it Aethermatic? It was Aethermatic Blue. And we mixed these colours together. It was 2-to-1.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It wasn't as dark as I would have liked it, so we mixed up a second batch and then went for it again with the same sort of 2-to-1. It might have been 2-to-2 actually, and then I obviously applied that, which gave us this really bright armor, which I've really enjoyed like playing around with and messing about with. I don't know whether this is gonna like turn into a series of like autocannon bits bashers. It might do. I did speak to the legend that is Andy Clark and had him put together some cool photoshopped versions of what certain units would look like with autocannons. So you've got like aggressors, but instead of bolters they'd have autocannon barrels, and for like a heavy intercessor, instead of him carrying a heavy bolter, he'd have like some sort of heavier version of an autocannon. And yeah, I mean there was like a 3-hour conversation of us figuring out what units you could change certain weapons on. I'm an autocannon enthusiast, so sue me. But I just thought we'd throw this video together and give you all a good giggle. It's been a lot of fun, and it turned out really ridiculous. I know some people are probably thinking like, oh, Vault Wardens, it's very space dwarfies, and obviously the emblem that I used for the chapter itself comes from the Dwarf Blood Bowl team, which so they've probably had some influence, because obviously we've had the Leagues of Votann stuff floating around for a while now, so that's probably influenced it a little bit. But I always liked the lore from Warhammer Fantasy Battles, the old world stuff to do with the vaults, which was a particular part of the old world near Tilia, and it was called the Vaults, and it was mentioned a few times in a couple of novels, and there was a couple of dwarven holds that had fallen, but they were filled with riches. Like, I think it was in one of the Gottrix and Felix books, they mentioned the vaults, and they went to one of the holds, and it was just packed with riches. So I always kind of liked that idea, and the Karak 8 Peaks concept, like this perpetually under siege and cut off. So I sort of went with that a little bit when it came to like the headcanon. Like, they're under the galactic plane, a little bit like the Carcharodons, but they're on the underneath of it, and they're in this particular star system that continuously keeps getting cut off. But the thing that makes them unique is the overuse of autocannons. So I hope you've all enjoyed this. Yeah, just a fun little video we've thrown together. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Any feedback on the model or the colour scheme.
Or your
own bits bash ideas, which would be really cool. And yeah, catch you all next time.
Doodles!